a few simple notes about wildlife and wilderness conservation. Take a look up to the big screen. Wildlife warrior study note number 1. Stop habitat destruction.
Hey, how gorgeous and long is Siam's trunk?
It's incredible. You know, elephants have so much control on this limb. They can pick up literally anything at all, from a small blade of grass, even push over a whole-grown tree if they had to.
That they can, and it's because they have over 100,000 muscles in their trunk alone.
Blow your mind. This is such great luck too. The way Siam's raised her trunk, I reckon she's wishing us all the best in our quest to become wildlife warriors.
She is indeed, and it is very special, folks. So how about a big round of applause for our gorgeous Asian elephants? Now, folks, if you did miss out on feeding them this morning, don't forget, straight after the show at 3 p.m, you can head up to Elephantasia and get hands-on. It's absolutely amazing.
It will change your life. So who wants to see some more wildlife? Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, folks, well, get ready to make some noise, because I'm going to ask you guys what animals you are here to see. So tell me, who is here today to see the crocs?
Yeah, crocs rule. Do we have any bird lovers in the crowd? Who likes the birds? Yeah, I'm with you.
That's the feathered one, mate. Okay, folks, who is here today to see the snakes?
Nice one. Let's make them welcome, please. A round of applause to the Australia Zoo Snake Crew. Woohoo!
Nice one.
All right, now, the boys are here today to tell us there's actually nothing to be afraid of when it comes to snakes. Respectful, yes, but not scared. You know, these animals are the most successful predators on the face of the earth, and because of it, they've developed into over 2,700 different species worldwide.
But we definitely don't have them all here today.
No, we don't. What we do have is a few different species of pythons and boas. Check them out. Now, none of the snakes here have any fangs, and these guys definitely don't have any venom.
But these snakes can still bite.
Absolutely. Get up close, you'll see that these snakes, they don't have arms or legs. So aside from biting, they have no other way of defending themselves or catching themselves a bite to eat.
So tell me, Michael, what do these guys like to eat?
Great question. Very adaptable predators. Snakes will hunt wherever they live. That could be down on the ground, up in trees, and they can even hunt in and around the water, like you can see here with Nathan. But honestly, that said, these snakes, they do prefer to eat birds and mammals. And just like people, the bigger a snake gets, the more food it will need to eat. Have a look at the big screen, meet a really big snake. Yeah, wow, that's the right answer. This is Lily. She is the biggest snake in Australia. She lives right here at Australia Zoo and is currently 7 metres long and weighs 150 kilos. Now, if you reckon that is a big animal, she could hit 10 metres long and weigh over 1/4 of a tonne. A little big to bring out here, but if you do want to visit her, she lives just 2 exit 1 underneath the stairs to the food court. Now, sadly, we don't get snakes so big as Lily here in the scrub. So the one and only reason you're going to get bitten by an Aussie snake is if they feel threatened. Snakes have simple rules. If you're smaller than a snake, you're on the menu for a bit of food. But if you're bigger, just like humans are, you're definitely a potential threat for these little guys.
Now that is too true, Michael, but I've been doing a little bit of my own research, folks, and I do have a very special fact for the ladies in the audience today. Ladies, you know that women are very rarely bitten by snakes. What? Yes! Bring it on! But do you know why?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Women are hardly ever bitten by snakes, probably because snakes don't live in the kitchen. Right, boys?
Oh, don't clap him! No! Michael, we need to inform you, obviously. Okay, ladies, we don't get bitten because we are smarter, right? That's right, we run inside and lock the doors and we send expendable blokes like yourself out to do it.
Now you're talking sense. That sounds pretty familiar. Who would like to see someone get bitten by a snake today? Yeah, I think that'd be great. Little surprise for Chantel. I've actually arranged an appearance of her very expendable husband. Darren is his name. Come on, let's make him welcome. This is him, Dazza the Yobbo.
Hey, you go, mate. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? Looking good, hubba, hubba. Hey, how about this one, sweetheart? Bow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, wacka, wow. Hey, beautiful day. This is like a perfect spot for me.
Freaks. All right, let's set the scene. It's a gorgeous southeast Queensland day. Here's a bloke we prepared earlier. He has brought a big bridge along, so we're going to need our hiding and a rubber snake and a great big wagon stick.
Okay, now folks, this is exactly how people get bitten by snakes.
And action.
Hey, right, head, you know. Oh, I say, very scary. Take the streets!
Okay, now that was close. Obviously this is where the situation should and could go very wrong. But today, this snake is faster and smarter than Darren, and it's about to inflict a venomous bite onto his strategically placed pointed finger. Action!
Oh, he bit me on me just strategically placed pointed finger. Oh, ouchie, oh, ouchie. Oh, help me. I feel so good.
Too many of those. Quick question, who thinks we should save poor old Darren?
Oh, one person's enough. Okay guys, it is very extreme to do something like that. And a perfect time for me to show you a little bit of first aid. Now check out the big screen if you can't see. If you are travelling into the Australian bush, you should always carry one of these. It's a compression bandage. Now if you don't have one, you can use a piece of clothing or say a belt. Now firstly, what we need to do is locate that bite site. And that could be a classic 2 puncture marks or just a scratch. And we're going to go around it 3 to 4 times. Now in this case, I do know it's his fingertips, so I'll do that and then I begin to work my way down the rest of his limb, making sure that I don't do it too tight and cut off his circulation, but just tight enough as you would for a sprained ankle or wrist. Now very importantly is not to get this bite site wet.
Perfect. Then at this point you get your patient onto his feet and you race him off to the closest hospital or the closest doctor's surgery.
No, absolutely not, Michael. You need to keep them laying down and very still, because it's only when the venom moves around his whole body with vital organs that he's going to be in trouble.
These behaviours drive around, you'll notice it's got beautiful green scratches on the wing. And as our birds make their way around today, please remain seated. They are large birds, they do need a fair bit of room to spread out those wings.
So Dave, where are these macaws actually found?
Well Michael, these guys are all the way from South America. And out in the country spreading Fido. Fido's a beautiful little golf ball. How you going, Fido? Now you'll find these guys from Panama to Paraguay, all the way down to the northern Argentina. They'll live in rainforests, swamplands, even palm groves. As they fly around, you'll notice how they'll fan out their tail, and they'll use that as a braking rudder to help navigate their way through the rainforest, looking for all their favourite food items. Now, unfortunately, logging and farming are destroying their habitat at an alarming rate. Out of 18 beautiful species before, unfortunately 2 are extinct, and 9 remain 16 are classified as endangered.
Which pretty much means we'll never see that 2 species ever again.
I'm afraid not. And as these birds hopefully about to demonstrate, will be our case of now you see them, now you don't.
Absolutely, mate. I tell you what, habitat destruction is a big threat. Thank you very much, Dave, and thank you, beautiful Michelle.
Let's put our hands together for Dave and the macaws. Isn't that fantastic?
They were. Now, I tell you what, we've got a special, 2 special little fellows coming out right now, and we've got Lexi to tell us all about it. G'day, Lex.
G'day guys, I'd like you to meet Flip and Albert. Now Albert's up the top and he's a greater cormorant, and this is Flipper with a little white face and he's a pied cormorant. Now if you look up at the big screen, you might notice that they have webbed feet or flippers, and this makes them great underwater swimmers. Now these birds are very adaptable because they can live in all sorts of waterways such as creeks, billabongs, rivers, lakes and even out at sea. But unlike ducks and geese, these birds don't produce a natural waterproofing oil. So after they do spend a period of time under the water, they do actually get waterlogged. So what they'll do is they'll hop up onto a log or a rock and they'll outstretch those wings, they'll sun themselves, and then they're able to take to the sky again. Now this is Caesar, he's an Australian dove. He's just going to display what they actually do out there in the wild once they get waterlogged. He's going to outstretch those beautiful wings of his. Now these guys are also known as aquatic predators. They like to feed on fish, crustaceans and jellyfish. But unfortunately, out there in the wild, they do actually confuse jellyfish with plastic bags. And what happens is they'll ingest these plastic bags, and as you can imagine for a bird like Flipper, this probably doesn't go down too well. Now, me and Flipper have had a little exercise, and we're going to see if he's going to play with me today. He's not fit at all. I was going to throw this rubbish in there, but he's saying to me, I'm not swimming in a creek with rubbish in it.
Good call.
So up to 100,000 mammals, reptiles and birds, guys, come into captive care every single year due to this very reason, just because we can't dispose of them properly.
That's unbelievable. To put it into perspective, you have have a quick look around us. There are actually over 5,000 seats in this building. We put an injured animal in every single seat of the Crocoseum. We can fill the place 20 times a year just with injured marine wildlife like Clipper, Albert and Caesar here.
Well, you know what, I think everyone here today would agree that we'd much rather be a part of the solution than the problem.
For sure. Let's make a positive note on the big screen. Wildlife Warrior, study note number 3. Keep our planet clean.
Hey, who's this?
This is Hugo, guys, and he's a white-faced parrot. You can see he's got gorgeous long legs, and he's also a water bird, but what makes him different is that he needs to wade through the water, so that's what he uses those long legs for. He's also got that long pointy beak, just to get right down into the mud and get the sorts of food he likes to eat.
See you later, Hugo. Now, Lexi, this next visit is very famous. That's our icon, the laughing kookaburra.
Certainly is. Meet Top. He is a laughing kookaburra. He's the largest member of the kingfisher family, but unlike his relatives, he does remain sedentary, which means he does occupy the same territory all year round. Now, he's known as a perch and pounce predator, which means he likes to sit up nice and high, wait for his prey item to come along, and then he pounces down on it with that big, powerful beak. Now, unlike parrots, who can use their feet and their beaks to chew and tear their food items into small pieces, this guy doesn't use his feet at all, so he has to swallow his prey items whole. He'll bash that prey item up against the branch. This is to soften and tenderise it, so he can get it down that way. Now, there's two types of kookaburras, the laughing kookaburra and the blooming kookaburra, which you will find in tropical Northern Australia.
Thanks very much, Lexi. Top gorgeous. Let's please thank Lexi, Tom, and our birds. Now,
Demonstration. So you're going to have an even better day pretty soon. So I might get some talent Michael to help me out with choosing two adult volunteers.
did you want to go first?
No worries. Okay, guys, who on this side would like to have a go on the raft? Got any volunteers? You're in the grey top right there. Yes, you stand up where you are. Stay right there. Any blokes over here? What about this guy right here? The two daughters. Yeah, you're a daughter. Yep. All right, stand up where you are. I've got my two, male and female. Over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Chantal. Look, this is the deal. If you're here on my side of the Crocoseum and you would like a bird to come to you today, you lot are going to have to be so much more excited than they were. Who wants a bird? Okay, we're going to go with the lady down the front here in the line. That's you? Do you want to play? Okay, stand up nice and tall. And who wants the bird over here? Come on, folks, get excited. Over here, you guys are very disappointing. Thoroughly underwhelmed. Right there, striped white shirt, that's you. Stand up nice and tall. Good stuff.
Alright, thanks Michael, thanks Chantal. Now, as part of my audition, I have been training these birds day in, day out for 3 whole months, and I'm really proud to say that what you are actually going to see here today has never actually been achieved in any other zoo. So, it's very exciting. Thanks Michael, yeah, it's really exciting. But in order for me to do this demonstration, I need to teach my volunteers 2 very simple commands. So, you're just going to learn these and follow along with me. The first is physical stance, it's just like this. It's called the tree pose. Go figure. If you could do that one, sir. Fantastic work. Alright, everyone's doing it? Alright, fantastic. Okay, now the second one is a little bit more complicated. I'll just do it first. I hear you laughing, and I get that it probably looks funny, but it's not actually funny. It's very serious. So, I might get my volunteers to have a go. Is that all right, Michael?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, first gentleman, off you go. Yeah, good work, nice. That's your son to the left, is it? Yes, you're right. Yeah, I can see why you had children. Thanks very much there. All right, volunteer number 2, off you go. Yeah, nice work indeed. Just remember with your arms to keep them nice and straight. You don't need to fly into the Crocoseum, they'll fly to you, okay? So nice and straight. Nice work, alright. Oh, hello, Mr. Gorilla Man. We meet again. Right, let's see if you can do a bird. Okay. Yeah, not bad at all. Just remember arms nice and strong, but top effort. Alright, and final volunteer at the top. Sounds like you're laying it.
That was working for me.
But let's just see how we go, okay? It's great. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to release the birds. As soon as I do that, I do need my volunteers to start with those commands straight away so my birds can pinpoint you. I'll just have a moment with my birds, make sure they're
too, mate?
Keep going, please. Yep, they're coming back now, and I just caught sight of them. Can anyone... Fuck it, they're going to do stuff. Alright. Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
I don't think that went so well. Let's put our hands together, please, for our fantastic volunteers. You guys were awesome. You take a seat. We'll try and find you a prize to say thank you.
You know what, guys? We definitely know what we're talking about. The infamous Australia Zoo. And here is Jodie. Jodie, who have we got there?
G'day guys, this is July and Karen, two of our beautiful red-tailed black cockatoos. And if everyone could just remain seated, they'll pay you a closer visit.
Beautiful. Now, who's this guy with exit 10 with the yellow tail?
Well, that's Natari, and Natari is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo.
And where do all these guys come from?
Well, the black cockatoos and the gorgeous Major Mitchells, they're the pink and white ones. They're all true blue Aussies.
Jodie,
You know, they're really lucky because they're found throughout Australia, and the yellow-tailed black cockatoo is right here on our very own Sunshine Coast. So if you take a look up in the skies today, you may see or hear a bird just like Natari flying around his family.
now these black cockatoos are very gracefully fly.
They certainly are very different from the Major Mitchells. Being a smaller bird, they have this crazy rapid flight. And some of our native parrots are designed to fly very quickly, just like the gorgeous little red-collared lorikeets. Now they move quickly throughout the sky to try to outfly predatory birds like hawks and falcons. Now you also notice that some of the larger birds are making their way around. They have quite short and powerful beaks. Now this helps them to find different food out there in the wild. So they feed on things such as insects, berries, nuts, seeds, those sorts of things.
They're awesome, Jodie. Now, the black cockatoo, whereabouts do they lay their eggs?
Well, they'll nest in large hollows in very tall trees, so it is really important that we do protect our old growth forest. Because the beautiful red-tailed cockatoo right here, they only lay the one single solitary egg each year.
So in this situation, what can we actually do to help protect these birds?
Well, what we need to do is look after our forest and then replant wherever we can. Otherwise, if we become mixed with our diverse ecosystems, they're going to disappear, which means so will the gorgeous birds.
Really good point, Jodie. Let's not forget that our old-growth forests are so critical, and while replanting is a step in the right direction, it actually takes over 100 years for the nesting hollows for birds like these cockatoos to develop.
Absolutely. That's what I tell you what, when you do see them flying around the Crocoseum, enjoying it as much as they are, you really want to help them. So guys, are we going to start protecting our forests or what?
That's what we want
Thanks
to do.
very much,
All right,
Jodie.
guys, I'll catch you later.
Let's put our hands together for...
Can someone drop me? Oh, guys, Jodie, can you help her?
Yeah, I better go give her a hand. See you later.
Let's try it again. Put your hands together a little bit for Jess, and a whole lot for Jodie and the Australian Zoo Bird Crew. Hey, who like the birds? Rules that will honestly keep you safe when you visit the places these animals live, and we'll also ask for your help to keep them around for millions of years to come. These animals, believe it or not, are the living into the dinosaur era. They are unchanged for over 55 million years. Now, a lot of people take this place for granted. The Crocoseum is an incredible venue, but Steve-O made a $9 million gamble on this arena. He's the only man in the world that believed he knew crocs well enough to build 7 enclosures, $9 million worth of seating and get them to come out here every day. You can't train a crocodile. All you can do is play on their 2 responses, which are the same responses they've used for millions of years. We're going to go up to the big screen, guys, and catch up with Croc Cam. Meet Oki. This little guy here is our croc for this afternoon. He's the smallest crocodile we use in the show at 11 feet long, and he weighs just on 1/4 of a tonne. All right, time for misconception number 1. Have a look at him when he pops his nose through the gate, and tell me if, just on appearance alone, you think this animal is some sort of crazy, psychotic killing machine. Be honest, hands in the air if you get that vibe from him. Okay, a lot of people. This is the big thing. Crocodiles, being a living dinosaur, will only ever attack for 2 simple reasons. They're very easy animals. One is for food, one is for territory. Now, I think they're just like humans without all the distractions. I'll prove my point. Who here in the Crocoseum eats food? Hands up if you eat food. Clearly every single one of us. The only difference between us and little Ocalicious up here is that Oc is what we call a carnivore. He is a meat eater. He must and will eat meat. He can't choose a nice rocket salad or a piece of tofu. This guy's designed to run on meat. So let's forgive him that one for eating. Now, the only other reason a crocodile will ever attack is for territorial reasons. Crocs will defend their home and their loved ones like any sensible human. The big difference is here. They live in and around the waterways of the northern parts of Australia. Okay, that aside, just like humans. Let's go back to this human comparison. Question for the crowd, mostly for the fellas. Tom, for the wave to the crowd. This is Tom. Let's give him a little clap. He does most of the hard work here on the Croc team. Yeah, give him a cheer. He looks a bit like a thug, so let's roll with that. Imagine, if you will, fellas, Tom here breaks into your house tonight after a big day at the zoo. In the middle of the night, he comes into your bedroom, grabs a hold of your wife or your girlfriend in a headlock, and starts to drag her half naked out the front door. What are you going to do, fellas? Yell out. Video camera. Who said that? Okay, tough crowd. Not the answer I was actually looking for. Look, let me rephrase the question, particularly for the fella down the front here. Forget your wife or your girlfriend. Same scenario. Tom breaks into your place. He goes straight to your beer fridge, grabs your last carton of beer, your Sony PlayStation from the lounge room, then grabs the keys to your Commodore Ute. What are you going to do then? Belt him, exactly. And that's the same response you get from a crocodile. As I said, the only difference is they don't live in apartments or caravans or homes. They live in this stuff, the water of the northern parts of Australia. They're going to defend themselves, they're going to fight for food, and aside from that, they're the easiest predator on the face of the planet to avoid. Now, I'm sure you're pretty sick of my voice, so I'm going to hand you over now to two fellas who were handpicked and trained by Steve Owen. Now, Marco here in the cast, he's going to be doing the feed, and we do have some backup in the Love Canal, who is Stewie's in the Love Canal. How about a round of applause for these boys? Best in the world, it's the Australia Zoo Croc team.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. So Stewie here, he's just trying to lead Ocky out, going on the three sort of things, or the two sort of ways that you can lead a crocodile around out here in the Crocoseum, and that's playing on their territorial response and the food response. Stewie's using both of those at the moment. He's got a white food bucket, which Ocky knows means food. He's also splashing around his water, banging the bucket around on the edge of the water, and Ocky hates that as well. So he'll follow Stewie around, come out through these canals and try and come out and hopefully put on a good show for you. Now the beautiful thing about the Crocoseum is this lovely clear water that we've got. So Ocky here, you can see every move that he makes here in the Crocoseum, whereas out in the wild, he's probably moving in really dirty, murky water so you can seal his body and prey upon animals without being seen. They really are an ambush attack predator. They work on the fact that they can hide themselves, stalk an animal, sneak up on an animal, and at the last moment strike out and grab the animal. Now, a few adaptations that the crocs have got to enable them to do this is, number one, they've got a lot of little dense nerve in his spine, his bottom jaw, the front of his legs, and basically over his whole body to a lesser degree. And these are called integumentary sense organs. Now these dense nerve endings, they help him pick up on pressure changes throughout the water, so he can feel my footsteps without having to pop up and take a look, which he's going to do right now. That he can feel footsteps and go out through the water and hone in on an animal's exact position just by using those. You see him pop under them. That was the first time he's actually taken a breath since he left his enclosure at the back. If he really wanted to, he could probably hold his breath for up to and over 3 hours at a time. So you can't go down to a billabong or a waterway, have a look around for 15 minutes, not see a crocodile and go, that's okay to take a swim there. They're really crafty, they've got time on their side. Not rushing over 100 miles an hour, trying to grab him, giving himself away. He's just going to stalk, climb along the bottom and set himself up. So when he comes over, he'll probably set himself up at about 1 to 2 inches beneath the surface of the water. Wait there for an animal to come in and put its head in the water and take a drink. Stewie, can you put your head in the water and take a drink? No? Hard to find good help, isn't it? Alright, so we'll see if we can get him to strike out for a piece of food and show you how these guys work. You can see his tail starting to twitch there, pulling all his feet forward and getting ready to make it. Good boy, have a look at this play. Beautiful. Have a round of applause for Rocky. Oh, that's it, isn't he? So if he really wanted to, Rocky can come out a lot quicker than he did just then. They've been catching animals like dingoes, foxes, and wallabies, things like that, for thousands of years. And these animals have much faster reflexes than you or I. So if you do wander into the strike range of the saltwater crocodile, you're not going to be able to get out of the way quick enough.
Now, crocs aren't very territorial, and their territory is the water. Okay, they will protect it with everything that they've got. So splashing in a croc's territory is like someone coming to your family home in the middle of the night and pegging rocks on your roof. You're going to protect it and do something about it.
Big difference here though, this animal has more closing jaw pressure than any other on the face of the earth. 3,000 psi. That's the same pressure as the emergency brakes in a jumbo jet 747. The last place I want to be is right on my nose.
Good boy, have a look at that. Right up there. Beautiful. Have another round of applause for him. He's doing well today. So those, the two strikes that we've just shown you there, that would be the main way crocodilians in general, especially saltwater crocodiles, catch the majority of their food. It's the most effective way for them, but they do, however, have another way that they can attack food, what we call a tail walk. Now this is not a circus trick, it's not something that we have to teach hockey, it's a really natural behaviour. All we have to do is present the food to him above the water, and I'll give you the rest. Thanks, Tommy. So like I was saying, really natural behaviour, and again in this clear water, you'll be able to see exactly how he does it. So they use this technique in the wild, catching things like flying foxes. Up in croc territory, you'll find that these colonies of flying foxes will roost in these trees that overhang the water. And if you're unlucky enough to be on one of the bottom branches, there's a fair chance that old man crocodile will come tail walking up and pluck them off one by one for a decent feed. So believe it or not, how's that jaw pressure? Believe it or not, guys, a crocodile can come vertically up out of the water and pluck a bird mid-flight. These guys are absolutely amazing. Watch how Rocky does this. He plants those big back feet on the bottom of the pond, angles his head up, and he'll swing that big tail. Beautiful, how's that? Give him a round of applause, guys. He's going off today.
Good advice there, don't get overhang in the water for a fish, don't go down to the water, don't enter the water, it's as simple as that. Have a look at the big screen, we'll show you some footage of the largest ever recorded crocodile. Now this animal, 23 feet long, has the strike range of a whole vehicle. So that's why we recommend when you go north, stay 5 metres away from any body of water to stay safe. The other thing you must know is these animals learn to remember. They've got a frontal lobe, they have the ability to watch and wait for you to make a mistake.
Do you think Stewie was going to get my arm taken? Look at the size of the bird he gives me. He's a good bloke. Alright, we'll see what we can do. What we do now, we'll get Ocky out of the water again, at the same time trying to dispel probably the biggest myth that there is about saltwater crocs. And that's just how fast they are on land. See that strike? All over now, and this is flat out for Ocky. Look at him go. Have another round of applause. He is a champion, isn't he? So like I was saying, initial strike fast, in the water fast, hard solid ground, really, really slow. You can see that now, his body's designed, he's not designed for the hard solid ground. It's shaped like a giant torpedo with that big tail which is about half his body length. In the water, he is dynamite. He can swim at about 28 kilometres an hour over short distances, so you'll never outswim a croc. However, once he's out on land, that big tail which helps him through the water becomes like a giant handbrake. He's got a dragon around behind him and slows him up no end. He's got a big bulky body, short little stumpy legs, and you saw before he had enough trouble lifting his stomach up off the ground, let alone chasing me down. I was able to walk backwards easily quicker than he can come forward. Now,